So I'm Stephen Cornish. I'm the founder and Managing Director of Pentanet. We're a telecommunications company. We do cloud gaming and we also have an esports arm. So from the telecommunications perspective, we deliver telecommunications in a way that's kind of outside just your traditional NBN or other fixed line operators. So what we do is we have a series of mobile towers and water towers and really high strategic sites all across Perth. We now operate the largest fixed wireless network in Perth. And we basically have fibre optics that run to those towers, and we use wireless technology to connect directly to our users. So our users on our network aren't going across any other network except our own. So they're connected directly to us. It gives us more control over the service that we deliver to them and the speed. So where it's evolving from there, we also are incorporating new technologies into our network, including 5G. So we own 5G spectrum. We're one of the only other carriers in Perth that own that. And then we're also evolving a new technology that was developed out of Meta. It's the highest scale deployment of this technology in the world, and we've done that here in Perth. But effectively what that is a new kind of wireless technology that enables much higher throughput and bandwidth and lower latency. We call that network Nexus. And the Nexus's intent, once we grow and scale it across Perth, is to deliver effectively a fibre-like equivalent service for a much more affordable price for our users. Another major part of our business is cloud gaming. So telecommunications is literally just, like I said, I wanted to build the network so that I could play games faster, but it's a means to an end, which is what we want to become is basically anything to do with like digital life or having a career online or gaming online or having like the best gaming experience online. That's kind of our core driving focus here. Building a better telecommunications network to do that is kind of just the start. We are also the exclusive provider of NVIDIA GeForce Now cloud gaming in Australia. So that's also another major like business segment for us. So we effectively have these, NVIDIA GeForce supercomputers in Sydney and in Perth. And we've been able to grow that to over 250,000 subscribers on that platform within our first year of launch. So I saw that ahead of time, and so this was a few years ago, and so we thought, okay, if we could go and secure the rights over this technology that's going to evolve to becoming one of the highest revenue producing what we call over-the-top services, then we can again like have a better strategic advantage in a very competitive and very, very large industry. I was always kind of technically minded. I was that kid that always used to go around and pull things apart at bulk rubbish and try and figure out how they work. I went to school, but actually went down a mechanical engineering path. So I did that after school, and it was just there where I really learned about like fundamentals of engineering and that sort of thing. But I've always been quite entrepreneurial. I used to have little businesses back at school and selling lollies and cans of Coke and that sort of thing. I was always just quite interested in business. We're a first generation migrant family from South Africa. So my dad actually worked, for another company when we got here. He was a door-to-door World Book salesman when we first got here. But when I was in my mid-teens, he actually stepped down and started his own business. So, I was able to see that, what it was to step out and start your own business in this country, which is certainly something you can do and achieve. Really, the deciding factor for Pentanet was my own need to have better internet. People are kind of familiar with it, but I really like playing online games. I played a lot of League of Legends, and I was living in a house that didn't really have good internet. And I was waiting for NBN to come around, and it was taking a bit too long, and I was getting really frustrated with my performance in the game, and I thought that was the key to, getting good. So I just started looking at different ways that you could access the internet, and different what we call last mile connectivity methods. And it was about this time that fixed wireless was a really good price performance. AC technology had just come out. And so I just started, again, back to that, family business roots, started modelling what a business might look like around, bringing this technology to the masses. And I remember from that moment, I was just really into it. I knew that that's what I wanted to do. And I actually had a house, and I sold that, and I put that money into building my first mobile tower. my feeling is that like we haven't achieved that ultimate success, and it's a funny thing because people do congratulate you on success and that as you go, but I think it's probably a common theme in entrepreneurs, like you're always still a few steps to go to achieve that success. But what I would attribute our current success to this point to has just been, a good idea. You have to really, you do have to put yourself out there with risk. But like all good successful businesses, I think one of the key points is the people that you have working in that business. So it's like the people and the culture that you can cultivate in that business and try to sustain as you grow and scale. Certainly a lot of the challenges in growing a business, especially in telecommunications, is, the capital requirement. We are a capital intensive infrastructure focused business. So, people can often understand telecommunications, but because we have these added layers on that telecommunications with technology, it has been challenging in Western Australia. With capital raising and going through to the public markets now, and getting that exposure for a tech business here, because WA is historically and traditionally resources. So it's great to have West Tech here in WA, because having that West Tech Fest present and being able to get the community all together, it does give you added level of exposure, and certainly exposure that you need when it comes time to get to these challenges of funding, which all new businesses need. Early on it was me knocking on doors, trying to basically sell internet as a door-to-door salesperson, probably like my dad selling World Book. And, a lot of people didn't understand that concept. It was just, too foreign that, you could connect to the internet in a different way. So we had them take big risks, but they were educated risks. But, for example, taking the big step to become the principal partner of the Perth Wildcats. That was really the first time that really our brand was kind of out there and, gave us that credibility that we were an actual business. So when people heard about Pentanet, it wasn't like, I don't know, this wireless or dish on my roof, and I think I'll just wait for NBN. Like those conversations subsided, and we found that, people started coming to us for our product rather than us trying to, educate everyone around what we did. I think the key to being a successful entrepreneur, and like I say, I still think I've got a lot to do even myself to consider myself that, but I think it just comes from tenacity and perseverance and making sure you get up and keep doing what you're doing. I mean, WA has a kind of a known where it's like WA is like, wait a while. I love WA, but that's I guess in essence of like the lifestyle here, is that we are a bit more relaxed. And in my role, I do have to spend a lot of time in Melbourne and Sydney, because that's traditionally where a lot of the investment market lives. But I love getting back to Perth. Like I think Perth is it's where I would choose to live, even if I could live anywhere. And for me, as someone that likes to do a lot online, it's also really good to be here because of our close proximity to Asia. So not only are we in the same near time zones, but connectivity-wise, which is really where our esports comes in, that's why we're trying to have a big drive and focus around esports out of Perth, because on our network here in Perth and our team who'll be living out of Perth next year, we can actually compete against the Asian market on the same latency that we would in the Australian market. When Pentanet first started popping up, and there was a very strong and heavy interest in like people wanting to reach out and meet with us, and not everyone was there that could like give us everything we needed, but they all wanted to reach out and help in a way, or see if there was something that they could do to help facilitate, someone that could help. So I think there's a big sense of support around the entrepreneurial community here in Perth, which I do reflect positively on and remember. And then it's also quite close knit, again being like a small city, that once you have all those connections, you also have those kind of in your Rolodex, so that at a later time you might need something, you need to call upon. I found that those doors have always kind of remained open, which is really good, I suppose, for the solidarity of Perth getting behind people wanting to do bigger things.